What is going on, guys? This is Miasin. So obviously you already know it, I'm back at it again with a top 50 best decks of the format because we got the ban list last Saturday, and I feel like I just have to milk it as much as possible and take advantage of the fact that it's good for content. So yeah, before we proceed, friendly reminder to smash the like, subscribe button, blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So we've got 4 sections. The first one is obviously the insane decks, that are most likely gonna win the YCS, and then we got the very solid top tier contenders. They have a very high likelihood of topping, maybe winning, but I kind of doubt it. And then we got the rogue decks. They might be decent. I'm also going to classify them in order. And then we've got the insanely broken decks, but only for side events. That's the only catch. And I actually think that ABC is a great one. It's extremely good if your goal is not to take the event seriously. All right, tier elements. I mean, it's also RNG, but I guess it kind of works. It still has a lot of gas going second, and it can break boards that don't have like a lot of floodgates or built-in negate, so it's in a decent position. It doesn't suck. Labyrinth, I actually think it's just getting worse and worse and worse. It's suffering a lot from collateral damage because Runic Stun is a deck that is gaining a lot in popularity right now, which means that people are focusing less to beat the combo decks like Pure Snake Eyes that actually lost their Omni Negate, so people are back to playing potentially cards like Lightning Storm, Cosmic, and Evenly in their side deck. And again, as a Labyrinth player, you don't really want to face that. So yeah, it doesn't really work in your favor, and Ash is still very popular, potentially Bestials and Ghostbell. Yeah, this deck loses to all of that. So again, it's still a very good deck, don't get me wrong, but I would place it actually at the very bottom of this section. Alright, Shark, just because it topped the YCS Sydney doesn't really make it that much better. So again, shoutouts to Loic as well as Joak, sorry if I'm butchering your name. Yeah, you guys are the Shark Goats, that's all I have to say, but it's still trash. Pure Snake Eye, this deck is very good. Yeah, don't go think about. To be fair, when I say Pure Snake Eye, I really mean like every Snake Eye deck that isn't necessarily Farking. It's still a very good deck. You can still do a lot of things without the synchros like Baron and Borlot Savage. Linkri Boban, if anything, I actually think is more impactful than the 2 synchros. Linkri Boban it's pretty big, but yeah, this deck can still play with the Kashtira cards, which I actually think is probably the best way of doing it. And you can still play with Jet Synchron and do some nice synchro plays that aren't Baron and Savage. So yeah, very good deck. Don't go thinking that this deck is garbage now. Infernoid, it's a very good deck as well, but without the new support, I can't put it any above like like in the very solid top tier contenders. Even though I do believe in it, I don't think it sucks. Centurion, this deck is just going to keep getting better and better. It is a deck that is a little fragile, it's inherently weak, but when you get to pull off your combo uninterrupted, or when your opponent has board breakers that aren't really adapted to beat you, you cannot lose. So for example, if your opponent has like Talons going second, it doesn't matter. Like any normal spell or Evenly or anything, it's not gonna beat the Centurion FTK, kind of. King Calamity Log, that's pretty scary. Okay, Flunderies, I hate to say it, but unfortunately this deck is very good. It has a lot of decent matchups, it's just in a really good position at the moment, so I have to put it at a very solid top tier contender, and I mean it. Sword Soul, very decent deck, but the issue is even though it gained Protoss, it lost Baron, so now it loses to Nibiru way harder. You can still beat Nibiru with Shaofeng, which you can access using Baxia, as well as the Adara, that you're reviving back with Baxia's effect by destroying Monk. So yeah, the deck still has some nice lines, I don't think it sucks. I think if you're very experienced with Sword Soul, you can make it work, and the deck has inherent gas going second to push through boards, so it's a decent deck, and it can also play Shifter, but Shifter doesn't work with the Tenyis, it only works with the Sword Souls. You're gonna miss out on Moye, and you can't use it with, what's his face, Tai, whatever, Taiya. However, I'm not Chinese, look, give me a break, but yeah, it's a fine deck, it doesn't suck at all. Purely, I think is ridiculously good, extremely good, and it got a buff with double delicious memory. So now there's a little less RNG with my friend, and I actually think this deck is both good going first and second, and has a lot of very good matchups, and can easily win going second with zero non-engine cards. Just the engine is good enough at breaking boards, and that is a huge turn on. You just look at any hand and you make it work. So that's really nice. Goblin Rider, this deck is in a terrible position because it's a combo deck that just has way less resilience than any other combo deck. It's a worse version of Phantom Knight. If anything, Phantom Knight is actually pretty good. It doesn't really matter where I'll put it, but it's a deck that can just use the Break Token engine very well. so it can beat Nibiru Imperm because you got Photon Lord that you summon with Imseti and whatever, another Horus monster, and then you got the Wandering Griffin Rider, and then you got the rest of your combo that's also pretty decent. So Phantom Knight piloted correctly, I think can definitely do really well, but nobody really plays Phantom Knight, so I can't really put it in the second section. If the deck was like more popular, maybe, I don't know. Voiceless Voice, it's a good deck. I would put it like probably on par with Purely, actually, because this deck is very weak going second just with its engine. You don't do enough, but going first, it's a deck that just can be super resilient. Sometimes it beats every hand trap in the world, like in the world combined, and sometimes it loses to one hand trap, so it's a very sporadic deck. Not like I can really say that much about it, but it's a good deck for sure. Do not get me wrong, it's definitely in the top 5. We can all agree on that. Alright, next up we've got Sky Striker. 3 engage doesn't change enough. Shark Cannon is a good card. I think the Sky Striker engine is good, but the thing is the deck is too weak itself. So like even if you got like decent hands, like you just need to sack engage. Like you just need to be good at the game. So it all depends on RNG. It's kind of like the same thing as tier elements. I don't know about that. Salamangreat, Code of Soul is coming out. This deck does not suck. And it also topped top 16 the YCS, was it top 16? YCS Guadalajara with my boy actually, Carlos, so huge shoutouts to you. I'm pretty sure it's him. But yeah, Salamangreat, decent deck for sure. Obviously you're scared of the rock, as you've always been, but if it's not for the rock, then you're usually just not really losing to any other hand traps. Ash Veiler Imperm, they don't do anything against Salamangreat, so yeah, decent deck, definitely. Recast and Avalon, it's a good deck. It's definitely a good deck, yeah. In Europe, it would probably be over here, yeah, but in North America, because this is YCS Rally, it's gonna be in the decent rogue, you know, section, so yeah, my bad. Chimera, another good deck. It can play a lot of hand traps. It's a one-card combo deck. It doesn't suck, so sure, I'm gonna put it there. Plunder Patrol, yeah, you gotta be good with the deck, but it's probably like on par with like Phantom Knight and stuff like that. I actually think Inferno is a little better though. Sword Soul, I also don't really know where to put it, but yeah, that's what I would put it at. Runic based strategies, this could also be Runic Stun, extremely good, but very targeted as well, so it'd probably be better than Labyrinth, but worse than Flunderies. Let's just say that this is Runic Stun. But Runic-based strategies overall are just very good, and they're also a good investment. Dark World. Droll it's always popular in everybody's side decks, but in the main deck, not necessarily. I don't know how good the matchup is against... Yeah, I don't know. I would probably put it, like, in the middle, I guess. It doesn't really matter too much, because the main weaknesses of Dark World would be Shifter, Droll, and, yeah, anything that shuts down the graveyard and searches, really. Everything else is just irrelevant. Exorcister, this deck sucks. Branded, very, very, very good deck. Again, very, like, just on par with these 3 decks, honestly, in terms of, like, power, consistency, and everything. They're very comparable. I mean, no, in terms of power, actually, I want to say maybe not power. Purely is just, like, more reliable, because your engine is just better at pushing through boards. This one as well. Voice's Voice can play a lot of non-engine. It doesn't need much to do a lot, so that's the beautiful part. But Despia, I mean, you can also play like without the Gimmick Puppet package, and you might have less weaknesses actually. If you want to play Gimmick Puppet, you're more susceptible to certain things. Even though like you're gonna FTK your opponent, but to be fair, you can FTK even without it. And but when I say FTK, I mean make such an unbreakable board that you're winning regardless. Goatee, this deck is mid, but it's better than Sky Striker at the very least, so I'm gonna put it there. Trap Tricks, no, it's not good. Runic Bestial, also not good, but it's better than Sky Striker. It's very easy to be better than Sky Striker. Vanquish Soul, this deck is so bad that it's actually on par with Sky Striker, which is, it doesn't feel good, honestly. Virtual World, this deck also is not super fantastic, but it doesn't suck, so I can't put it in like the garbage section. Magic Spectre, no, definitely garbage, even with Kieran, it doesn't change shit. Altergeist, you also suck, comparable to Trap Tricks, dog shit. And Infernoble might be one of the worst decks here, because Isolde got banned, so it's sass. Orchis with 3 Harp Horror, no, it's not good, but it's still better than Sky Striker. This is gonna be like, I'm gonna keep saying this until like the end of the video. Alright, Kashtira, okay, another tier 1 deck. It's actually worse than Flunderies, Is it better than Runic Stun? I'm actually more scared of Runic Stun than I am of Kashtira. Alright kids, repeat with me, okay? Yeah, make sure that you're listening. What is the best Kashtira card? I'll give you 5 seconds to answer. What is the best Kashtira card? Alright, the answer is Dimension Shifter. Yeah, so if you got Dimension Shifter, this deck is there. If you don't have Dimension Shifter, this deck is not really good. I literally think I'm like 50-0 against Kashtira that don't open Shifter against me. Or a Rizard. Obviously, when a Rizard was a thing, they didn't need Shifter. Yeah, this deck is very bad without Shifter. Even like the actual board, it's good, but it's not good enough. Like the Fire King and Snake Eyes deck, they can still beat you. So I don't know about that. By the way, speaking of Fire King, I'm just gonna get it over with. This deck is clearly the best deck of the format, so there's really no reason to waste time with that. Earthbound Runic, very similar to Bestial Runic, so I'm gonna put it there. Rescue Ace, it's actually worse than these decks, honestly. It's a fire deck that isn't that great, so I'll probably put it here. Better than Labyrinth again. Mana Dome, this deck is actually trash without Baron, because now you lose to Nibiru. And your boards, I feel like they can be picked apart because you're lacking the spell and trap negates. Well, you do have the reframing, the trap card, but then you might have to add some extra bricks and everything. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about it. And also Baron being able to destroy your own cards, it added a lot to your strategy. Alright, Ashen, this is actually the worst here. The new support is bad. Unchained, this is not too bad, honestly. Obviously, I know it's at the very bottom, but still. Anything that's in decent Rogue isn't trash. I don't think that these decks are garbage. It's just that, you know, it's just, yeah, they're not good enough, right? I don't think any of these decks realistically will top YCS Rally, but these decks and everything here, most likely. Generator, another deck that's just like very mid. It's good for locals, but that's it. Black Wings, maybe Kanak will top the YCS, so I'm gonna put this better than Orcus, better than I was gonna say Gookie Goatee, it's better than Phantom Knight, better than Infernoid, better than Sword Soul, better than this. Yeah, it's a good deck. It doesn't suck, and people don't really know what to hand shop either, so it's fine. It's fine. Okay, Dragon Link. Do not play this deck without Savage. It's very bad. It's very, very bad. To be fair, it's still a Hieratic Steel Turbo deck. But Hieratic Steel Turbo isn't even that good, honestly. Who cares? No, you suck. Yo, literally, Typhon ends, like, out the full board, really, if you ended, like, Borload and Dragon Pass, which is very pathetic. So, yeah, no, it's not good. Raid Raptor, doesn't suck either. So, yeah, it's probably, like, here. Honestly, it's worse than the Earthbound Runic and Bestial Runic decks. Mikanko, yeah, don't play that deck either. Tri-Brigade Sprite is decent, but it's not any better than, like, Pure Sprite. And now we've got the 2 Sprite decks, which I would probably be... No, actually, those decks are good, honestly. They're definitely, like, here. This is the for higher version. I think the regular Sprite deck is a little better. I think it's a little cleaner. You can play more hand shops. You can play cards like Fenrir. When the Ice Bearer cards will come out, you can play a little package of Mirror Magic of the Ice Bearer as well as the Monster Reborn. So that's actually not too bad. But the for higher, you just have to play like way too many other engine cards, like the Runic cards. The Runic cards are good. It's just that then you get to play like what, 3 hand shops max or 6 maybe. And that just doesn't really feel like it's enough. Yubel is a very good deck. Even without Phantom of Yubel, it's still tier 1. Maybe here. Yeah, it's good. It's in like the top 15 best decks for sure. Marin says that's another very good rogue deck. It can play a lot of hand shops. It's a 1-card combo deck. I do believe in Marin says, and also doesn't lose to Bestials or there's a lot of like weird garbage hand shops that just don't really affect this deck. And it can also make Bahamut into Toad and have like an Omni Negate, and then it can also have the Link Fort to negate a spell and trap. That's, I believe it's a spell and trap on the opponent's turn only, I think. So yeah, and also Marincess Wave is a good card. So Marincess has a lot going for it, honestly. And if you're good at the game, it's nice. But Ghost and Magic going to 1, it makes the Stealth Kraken FTK lock a little worse. Anyways, Eldritch, no, it's not good. It is not good, but Eldritch Horus is not bad. So I can maybe put it like here. It definitely doesn't suck, but it has to go first. It really has to win the dice roll. And last, but certainly not least, Dinomorphia. This deck is not least for sure. It's actually one of the better trap decks because the Rextrum is a good card, but a lot of Ghost Mourners are being played right now, and you don't want to get murdered on your Rextrum when you're summoning it on the opponent's turn. And at the end of the day, it is still a chop deck, so it's a little slow. It's still a little better than Eldritch, I want to say, so I'll probably put it here. No, I mean, yeah, after the two runic decks, they're a little faster. So I think I'm satisfied with this. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But yeah, this is how I would probably place the best decks of the current format. Again, just as a solid, as a reminder, yeah, I mean, it's a solid one. These three decks are very interchangeable. I could see like this happening, whatever, like purely could be like the better one out of the three. I don't really care too much. All I care about is that all of these 5 decks belong in the top 5. That's all I really have to care about. Everything else, whatever. And Runic Stun, Flunderies, Kashtira, Rescue Ace, Labyrinth, they're really not that far away. These are also very good decks. And also Yubel, very good. Centurion, very good. Salamangreat doesn't suck. And yeah, Water is super effective against Fire. So that's the reason why Marincess is the best decent rogue deck. But it's really just because it's a 1-card combo deck that just doesn't really play too many bricks. And it's just really clean. It gets you there. So yeah. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.